Let's check the latest news update with Vishal.
Hello and welcome to Friends World TV. I'm your host Vishal Venkatesh. Thank you for joining the weekly English news bulletin today. The news has been very interesting to say the least this week. We've got a lot of updates about Trump and Melania Trump in particular. And of course, we've got the COVID-19 updates, both in a national and global news context. But as usual, let's get to the headlines first. Former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott spent $135,000 on medals for knights and dames back in 2014, but they have now been deemed to be worthless. The new department chief pledges to clean up Sydney airport land scandal as staff members stood down. Victoria records 3 new COVID-19 cases and no new deaths. Crown Casino is to be investigated by Austrac over potential money laundering breaches. And the US says the Google breakup may be needed to end its violations of antitrust law. Trump says Sudan to be removed from terror list when it pays $475 million. And Argentina records 1 million coronavirus cases as a second wave slams the mass geography of Latin America. And New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says that she's grateful just for being here again in her latest social media post. Archaeologists from the Peruvian Ministry of Culture have announced the discovery of a 37-meter long glyph of a feline in the Nazca Lines. Danish submarine killer Peter Masden caught after short prison escape. Thousands of demonstrators have rallied across France in tribute to a history teacher who has been beheaded near Paris after discussing caricatures of Islam's Prophet Muhammad with his class students. And famous Hollywood actor Jeff Bridges has revealed that he's being treated for lymphoma. First Lady Melania Trump delays return to campaign trail with her husband, US President Donald Trump, due to a lingering cough from COVID-19. And a zookeeper has been killed by a group of bears at a wild animal park in China as horrified visitors on a passing tour bus watched on. Now to the Tony Abbott incident. Medals which were purchased to be awarded to knights and dames were once valued at $135,000, but they have now been deemed to be worthless, according to the Governor General's office. The then Prime Minister, Mr. Abbott, reintroduced the honour of knights and dames into the Order of Australia just 6 years ago. Malcolm Turnbull scrapped Mr. Abbott's Knights and Dames program just 7 weeks after he ousted him as Prime Minister. And 4 waist badges worth $20,000 each and a neck badge worth $15,000 were among the items that were being financially written off. And the medals are presently, as we speak, being kept in the portable and attractive items register instead of being destroyed. 2 staff within the federal government's Western Sydney unit are under investigation as the fallout from the controversial $30 million Leppington Triangle land deal continues to deepen. There are now 3 internal probes that have been launched underway after the Australian National Audit Office launched a scathing criticism of the Commonwealth's handling of the purchase. And it's also important to note here that the Australian Federal Police confirmed it was investigating potential criminal offences. Multiple inquiries are presently underway about how the federal government paid $30 million for land which was later valued at only $3 million. And 1 staff member had been stood down and another has been removed. The new head of the Federal Transport Department has vowed to clean it up. Victoria has recorded 3 new COVID-19 cases and no new deaths according to the state's health department. The new cases taking the rolling 14-day average for Melbourne to 6.2, down from 6.4 yesterday. There are 10 new mystery cases, down from 13 yesterday. And in regional Victoria, the rolling 14-day average remains at 0.4. The Financial Crimes Regulator is investigating casino operator Crown for potential breaches of Australia's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing laws. Crown said it in a statement to the ASX and also Austrac had identified potential non-compliance with laws including concerns in relation to ongoing customer due diligence and adopting maintaining, and also complying with the anti-money laundering counterterrorism financing program. The matter has been referred to the agency's enforcement team, which has begun a formal investigation into Crown Melbourne. Crown said its investigation was focused on Crown Melbourne's management of customers identified as high risk and politically exposed individuals, which in turn is likely to include customers brought to the casino by junk operators in China. The US Justice Department has officially filed an antitrust lawsuit against Alphabet Inc. Google, claiming that the $1 trillion company uses its financial market power to fend off rivals and stifle competition. The lawsuit, which was joined by 11 states in the US, marks the biggest antitrust case in a generation, comparable to the lawsuit against Microsoft Corp, which was filed 22 years ago, and also the 1974 case against AT&T, which led to the breakup of the Bell system. The lawsuit also claims that Google acted in an unlawful manner to maintain its position in search and search advertising for the internet. The complaint also says that Google has nearly 90% of all general search engine inquiries in the US and also 95% of mobile-related searches. US President Donald Trump said Sudan will be removed from the United States list of state sponsors of terrorism if the capital Khartoum follows through on a pledge to pay $335 million to American victims of terrorism, and of course this includes their families as well. Former Sudanese dictator Omar al-Bashir, accused of providing a haven for terrorists, was overthrown just last year. The Trump administration is pushing the normalization of relations between the Muslim majority states and also Israel. Sudan's foreign debt, on the other hand, is worth more than half of its GDP, and around half of its citizens live in poverty. Argentina has become the 5th country to record 1 million coronavirus cases. More than 60% of Argentinians tested positive to the virus, and Latin America's second wave is predicted by WHO experts to not be leaving anytime soon. Recently re-elected New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has told the world that she is grateful for just being here again in her first social media post since the historic elections. On Monday, Jacinda posted a selfie on Instagram with the caption, "Back in the Beehive, a chance to catch up with our new MPs, thank the team who are working behind the scenes during the last 6 weeks, and to feel grateful just for being here again." Archaeologists from the Peruvian Ministry of Culture have announced the discovery of a 37-meter-long glyph of a feline in the Nazca Lines. The ancient Nazca Lines depict animals and humanoid figures in the Peruvian desert. Modern technologies have also allowed scientists to uncover more and more animal glyphs. And, of course, Peru's tourism-dependent economy has suffered after strict COVID-19 lockdown measures. A Danish man has been convicted of torturing and murdering a Swedish journalist on his homemade submarine, has been caught after breaking out of his Copenhagen jail where he's serving a life imprisonment sentence. Peter Madsen, who was convicted of killing the Swedish journalist, was caught by Danish authorities just outside the capital not long after his escape. Mr. Madsen forced his way out of the prison using objects that resemble a gun and a bomb belt and holding a prison employee hostage, according to local police officers. He was arrested less than a kilometer from the prison's location, and 5 minutes after the police were alerted, the police chief, Mogens Laurisden, told reporters at a press briefing. When the police found him, Masden had forced his way into a van and was pulled out by officers and also handcuffed. Thousands of demonstrators have rallied across France in tribute to a history teacher who has been beheaded over his teachings of the famous Islamic prophet, Muhammad. French police have arrested almost 11 individuals in connection with this infamous murder. Demonstrators held placards in tribute to the teacher and in support of freedom of speech, and the demonstrations came as France is reportedly planning to expel more than 200 suspected extremist foreigners. And Hollywood actor Jeff Bridges has revealed that he's being treated for lymphoma. Jeff said he would keep his fans posted on his recovery, and he ended his announcement with a call to a vote in the US presidential election, which is, of course, upcoming next month. And Patricia Arquette, Kathy Griffin, and Amy Sedaris are among the stars who have already wished the 70-year-old well and with good health. US First Lady Melania Trump's return to the campaign trail has been put on hold because of a lingering cough from a bout of COVID-19. Mrs. Trump decided against accompanying her husband, President Donald Trump, to a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, and Donald Trump said people are tired of hearing about COVID-19 related news. More than 58,000 Americans a day are testing positive for this notorious virus, and more than 700 a day are dying in America because of COVID-19. A zookeeper has been killed by a group of bears at a wild animal park in China as horrified visitors on a passing tour bus watched on with absolute and utmost horror. The Shanghai Wildlife Park confirmed that a staff member was attacked on Saturday afternoon while working in the wild area where dangerous animals such as bears, snakes, and tigers roam around and relatively freely. Park visitors on a tour bus in that section of the park saw these bears run towards the staff and filmed parts of the tragedy as it unfolded, all within a matter of 3 to 5 minutes. And the Chinese state-owned tabloid Global Times reported that an excavator working nearby drove towards the animals in a vain attempt to move the bears and save the person, but unfortunately, it was too late. The video has since been widely shared on the Chinese social media network Weibo and watched more than 658,000 times within the last 18 hours. That's all the news for this week. Stay tuned to Friendsville TV for more news around the clock. I'll see you next week. This is Vishal.